I have Karla Ilicic with us in our podcast today, and she's our meditation, breathing, fitness, and nutrition coach. And I am Dr. J, and we would talk about the topic of joy and how to find what makes you happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Karla Ilicic.
Yeah. So it's very individual when it comes to, trying to find what makes you happy and what actually happiness is for everyone, because it's different for every person. But the most important thing is to learn how to look into yourself and to find that that little part of your day that actually changes your entire day, because nobody can make you happy and then nothing can make you happy but yourself, and that is the biggest truth in the world.
So when
So
you say the little thing which makes or changes the whole day, what do you mean?
I
Explain.
mean literally anything.
Oh,
So when you wake up in the morning and you start your day, let's say with a coffee, you love coffee, you love the smell of coffee, you love the taste of coffee. Coffee makes you happy. So instead of instead of just drinking it as your daily ritual that you simply can't live without, because you know how people get, they're like, oh, I can't start my day without coffee. Instead of looking at it as something that you need, like absolutely need, start looking at it as something that makes you happy. So
ah,
something that really brings you joy in that
interesting.
moment, and then
Rather than
enjoy
just
every
drinking
sip.
it.
Like every time you exactly. So enjoy the smell, enjoy the sip, enjoy everything. And that little thing can make you happy. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be a big, gesture in your life. You might have some very bad things happening in your life. You might have some really sad things happening in your life. But if you find that one little thing in your day that brings you joy, you're already, in a better position. So a lot of people think that in order to be happy, they need to, be successful, for a marriage, have kids, be in good relationships with their family, have a lot of friends, travel, but these are all just, big things in life that can potentially make you happy, but they don't have to. There are a lot of people who have all of that and they're still unhappy, because deep down they are very unhappy with a lot of different things that happen in their lives that shape them into persons who they are. And even if they have all of that, especially when it comes to like money and success, you still need to, dive deep into yourself and question what really makes you happy. Is there something that you didn't work uh, on yourself with? So like, did you really forgive somebody for something that they did, or did you really try to pursue a career that you really want instead of being, working in a job that brings you enough money but you don't really enjoy? So those are all the little things that people don't pay attention to when they're, just living their lives and everything is fine, quote unquote. And then one day something happens and they snap and they realize that they're really unhappy. So they try to find happiness in a lot of different places that are actually wrong. They just have to first start and understand that happiness comes from within. It doesn't come from out. You won't find happiness in a partner. You won't find it in a baby. You won't find it in 17 different friendships if you are deeply unhappy with yourself. So that's why I say, like, find something that makes you happy as a person, whether it's a hobby that you're doing, whether it's taking 10 days off and going traveling by yourself, finding yourself, finding what really drives you. Is it fitness? Is it, cooking? Is it meditation? Whatever it is, something that will make you just happier throughout the day. And it's very hard once start to look for that, because you don't know what you're looking for, basically. So you have to try many different things that could potentially work, and
No,
people
it's
don't have
so,
the patience.
yeah,
So that's
so
kind of the thing.
interesting that you talk about something as simple of having coffee every morning, because
Yeah.
most people who drink coffee in the morning have to have coffee
Mm-hmm.
and they need it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can just turn that coffee into enjoying it,
Mhm.
I mean, it might just change their whole day.
Exactly. And that's why, when people say carpe diem,
Yeah,
basically that's something, that's how I look at it. So look at your daily rituals, because if you say carpe diem, you can't really expect from people to, book a random trip to Bali and just fly. No, every day try to enjoy every little thing that you're doing, because that's carpe diem for me. Drinking coffee is a part of your carpe diem, because it's your daily ritual, and if you don't enjoy it every day, then you're not making the best of that day. Then carpe diem your breakfast, really enjoy what you're eating. Don't just That's why I always hate when people say that they're just grabbing something on their way to
right,
work.
right.
Don't. Then rather
Grab
don't
it.
grab it.
Enjoy
Then
it.
enjoy it. Go when you're going to work, prepare it before, or when you come there, order something in, but don't eat on the way. Don't grab a
So,
bagel, put cream cheese on it, and then just run out your door, because you're not
so
enjoying that breakfast.
in the chapter Thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about how you can mold your thoughts into
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
negative or positive. So, what you're
exactly.
saying makes so much sense that almost everything, if not everything, a lot of things, you can start enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to eat breakfast anyway, drink coffee anyway,
Mm-hmm.
do something anyway, might as well
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it. I mean, it's not going to
Exactly.
cost you any more.
Exactly. And the way that I started doing stuff like that and learning how to enjoy specific moments in my life was basically when I was in a plane. Because when I started traveling like a lot, I was living in Spain and I was traveling back home to Croatia and Spain multiple times in a year, maybe like 8 to 9 times. And there was a time for maybe a year that I was very anxious when I was flying, because I was flying all the time. And I remember it vividly. It was a winter, and I think it was like a December or a January of some year, and it was very cold. It was very early in the morning, and my plane was something was wrong with the plane, so we had to change into a different plane. And I remember them saying that they're going to fix this on this plane, and I was like, I'm not getting into a fixed plane. Please just transfer me to a new plane. I'll be fine. And they didn't. They put us in the fixed plane. And I
Oh
remember I was so anxious flying.
my God.
I couldn't even, like, I had a panic attack. I couldn't even breathe. It was terrible. And then I just stopped myself and I just, told myself, look, you can't get away from here. You're right here in the air. You can't move. So why don't you try to enjoy it? Try to find something in this freaking plane that you're enjoying. So first I gazed through the window and I looked at the clouds, and I literally was able to like calm myself down. I was looking at the clouds and I was breathing, and I told myself, look, you are alive, you are healthy, you are flying into a country that you love. You're going to be soon there. You're going to be eating all the good food. You'll be enjoying the sun, and you're here now. You're like in the clouds. How amazing is that? So I was like trying to find myself, trying to calm myself down, and it was working. It was working. So that's when I realized that I have to do that whenever I feel like I'm somewhere that I can't control or that I don't like, because this is a situation that you really can't control. You're in a plane. So imagine when you're in a car and you're in a traffic jam. I mean, being in a plane somewhere where you can't control it, and if something happens, you can die. And then you're in a traffic jam and you go crazy. I'm like, come on, I'm not gonna go crazy in a
Much
traffic jam.
easier to handle that.
Exactly. So I learned how to, put a playlist, put a song that I really liked, or put a podcast, or, just do something that I really liked when I was stuck and I couldn't do anything. So yeah, that's how I started kind of getting into that. And that's when I realized how important our daily rituals are, because we live our lives mostly very ritualistically. Like we all get up in the morning, we do the same things over and over. We go to work, we come home, we cook dinner, and we go to bed. Basically, that's our weekday. it's not like we're traveling the world every day and we're visiting all these amazing places and every day is different. For a lot of, I mean, for most people, every day is practically the same. And if
Just
you're not enjoying it, what's the
yeah.
point?
So just the sound of it, the way you talk about it, is
Mm-hmm.
positive, because when you were discussing happiness from within,
Mm-hmm.
and so one of the discussions we were having a few years ago about joy score and perception of joy, and the discussion pretty much came to a point where once you realize that the happiness is within, it becomes joy. So, what is the difference
Yeah.
between happiness and joy? You can say, well, happiness is kind of external. It starts with feeling happy about something, but when you start internal, in, understand it internally, it becomes joy. You know.
Yeah.
So, and then
Exactly. Exactly.
when you talk about daily rituals, so these are pretty much things you do every day. But by
Mm-hmm.
calling it ritual, you're kind of painting it with a positive,
Yeah.
happy tone. So it's
Mm-hmm.
no longer having coffee.
Yeah.
Having coffee is a ritual now. It's
Mm-hmm.
no longer having breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Having breakfast becomes a ritual. Even,
Mm-hmm.
you can even going to work be a ritual. I mean,
Exactly.
you can
Exactly.
you
That's
can
what
suffer and hate it, or you can say, well, look, nobody's telling me how to feel about it. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to
exactly.
enjoy my
That's what
work
I've,
today.
that's exactly how I started looking at things,
Right,
because of course you can't do that every day. Sometimes things happen and you just,
right,
go
right,
crazy. But
right.
most of the time, if you really enjoy your daily, being going to work, being stuck in traffic, trying to do something from it. There are a lot of people that I know started listening to, because I was talking to them and I told them, look, use that time, your commute time, to listen to a podcast, learn something new, listen to an audiobook, learn a new language, for Christ's sake. There are a lot of like online apps now that you can
Yeah.
learn a new language. And I know a bunch of people who, because they're listening it to work an hour
Learning,
back from work,
yeah,
and they're listening to a new language. So it's pretty cool.
learning is something which, at least in my life, has been the most significant part of enjoyment. Because when I started teaching
Mm-hmm.
in 1978, I started understanding what learning means. What learning
Mm-hmm.
and teaching, you have to understand both sides of it, because you can't understand one and
Exactly.
deal with the other. So you have to learn the whole thing. And I realized that learning can be, again, a ritual, like you talked about. It could
Mm-hmm.
be something you enjoy, or you can say, oh my
And you
God.
can never stop, basically.
Right. And actually, it's interesting. I always said that to my students, that something about learning, the more you learn, the more you need to learn. Because
Exactly.
the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, and you could benefit from learning.
That is so true. That is so true. It's one of those things that people don't understand, is that in order to be richer in life, you need to constantly keep on learning new
Learning.
things. And if you don't, you're going to be stuck somewhere. The world is going to keep going and you're just going to be stuck there.
You know,
So
it's you said richness, and I was 15-year old when my dad explained to me that the true wealth is what you know,
mhm,
not how much
absolutely.
money you have. Because
Yeah.
he said, look, money is very um, impersonal. It could come
Hmm.
and go.
Exactly.
You have it today, you don't have it
Don't have it
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
But
Exactly.
what you learned is going to be yours forever till you die. So
Mm-hmm.
it got into my head that, look, anything you can learn is good for you, it's good wealth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so I think this has been an amazing podcast. as simple a topic where, sometimes you talked about forgiveness or forgiving somebody or gratitude or purpose. Now, all these things are so simple. And then taking anything and instead of calling it something you do or activity, if you can think of that as a ritual, it becomes so much more meaningful, enjoyable.
Exactly.
And I couldn't believe how beautifully you explained that a lot of people have coffees because I go to Starbucks every morning and I have my coffee. And I didn't realize till I heard you say it today that why couldn't you just take that coffee and turn it into a ritual? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm going to start thinking about it tomorrow, starting tomorrow, my
Well,
coffee
I'm really glad. Yeah, I drink my coffee like that
ritual,
every day.
because I'm going to enjoy every sip of it,
Yeah, exactly.
rather than
Exactly.
gulping it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so simple. One little thing, and it can improve your day. Absolutely.
Karla, you're simply amazing. I love you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.